What's up, you guys? Today we talk about Santal 33, um, the notorious Santal 33 from Le Labo. This fragrance has changed my life, and I kind of will get into why in a second, but just a little backstory. I've always been into fragrances, you know, 12 plus years now, 13 plus years now. My mom and dad would always have a bunch of fragrances at home that I kind of wore from time to time, and I liked them a lot. Eventually, I started buying my own back in middle school and high school. Me and my mom would go to, the fragrance stores back in our little hometown and buy things there. And again, this is a little small border town in Texas. Not many or not even any big department stores where you can kind of pick out new releases or anything like that. So it was just kind of the basic run-of-the-mill fragrances at the time. But fast forward, my love for fragrances kind of stayed. I was buying fragrances here and there. During college, I bought like three, but again, nothing major. I had Versace Eros, La Nuit de l'Homme. Not because people told me to buy them, but I was just gravitated towards those. But yeah, I guess you could say they were like the mainstream fragrances at the time. Mont Blanc Legend. Um, but yeah, fast forward to 2016. I was interning in New York, and I before I left back home, I went to the Saks Fifth Avenue there and kind of browsed some fragrances. And I ran across this boutique or this little booth, and this guy showed me this fragrance. He's like, "Hey, you need to really try this one." So I smelled it and I fell in love with it. And it turns out it was Guerlain's Cologne du 68, which I loved. But when he told me the price, I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" It was like $200 or something like that. But anyways, I was like, "Oh, is this a new fragrance house?" He's like, "No, this." He's like, "No, it's Guerlain." But I had no idea what he was talking about. Considering that I grew up in a small town, I had no idea what these brands were. But he gave me a little sample to take home, and I cherished that sample for quite a bit. Probably still have it sitting around somewhere in my cupboard. Um, but fast forward again, go back to work here in Austin, and one of these days I was just kind of helping out a lady, and I just kept smelling this beautiful thing, and I just kind of kept getting whiffs of something that was like amazing, and eventually I got the courage to ask her. You're like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, you smell really good. What is that?" And this was around 2016 as well. And she's like, "Oh, it's Santal 33." So I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks." And I just pulled out my phone, typed in what I thought it was, misspelled it probably. I probably put SANTEL 33 or something like that, or Sandal 33. I really had no clue what the word Santal was. Um, so ended up finding it and saw that it was like whatever the price was at that point, like $200 or $300 for the big model. And I was like, "Oh wow." So fast forward, um, I kept telling my girlfriend about it. I was like, "Oh my god, I need to really get this fragrance. It smells amazing." And it kind of led me down a rabbit hole, right? So started researching, found out Le Labo, and that's kind of why I say this fragrance changed my life, because it introduced me to a whole new world, um, of like researching and kind of diving deep into different brands and things like that. But she ended up buying me a small little, they sell the little vials that are like 15 mil, but like they charge you crazy amount of money. So they were charging $89 for a 15 mil, travel spray. So she ended up gifting it to me for my birthday, I believe. Actually, it was, I think, Christmas. So she bought it for me, and I was like really happy, but I was also kind of sad because she spent so much money on such a small sample, or not sample, but just a small amount of fragrance. 15 mil for that price is kind of outrageous. So I ended up wearing it a little bit. Maybe wore like 20 sprays throughout the week, and then eventually I just felt bad, so I told her to take it back, and we got refunded. And then I kind of just delved deeper into finding a good price for this. So I discovered like those secondhand groups, Facebook groups, Reddit groups, whatever, and found this exact bottle for, I don't know, 120 or something like that. So that was more affordable, compared to that 15 or $85 smaller portion. So this is the exact bottle that I bought 4 years ago. And just, it's been different ever since, started researching perfumers. This was made by Frank Vogel, which, come to find, produced a bunch of other great Le Labo scents that I enjoy. Discovered other brands throughout the process. Kind of pretty much opened the world of the fragrance community to me. So without this, I guess I wouldn't be doing these videos or collecting as much as I have. So whether it changed my life for the better or for the worse, I do believe that this little fragrance here has a special place in my heart. It gets a lot of bad rep, but I really enjoy it. I enjoy the scent profile. I think it's amazing. I've called this a masterpiece on Eugene's stream once or twice now. I probably said it playing around, but I probably deep down believe that I think this is a great fragrance. It actually didn't even just change my life. It changed the game. It changed the industry. It's just a really polarizing fragrance. It's gonna stick around for a while. It's a modern classic. I would say, of the 2010s. So it's just a really great woody fragrance, powerhouse. So you get your money's worth on this one, I think, compared to a bunch of other things that are being released today. This does last on the skin. This does project. This does have a crazy sillage. You will get compliments. This is definitely my top 3 most complimented perfume that I wear. 90% of the time, someone's gonna say something about it, usually positive. Some people get dill pickle notes, but I don't know. I don't really make that association at all. I just think it's a really great fragrance. Its notes are like leather, iris, papyrus, sandalwood, and some other things. And I guess another reason people kind of hate on this is because the name implies that it's going to be a really like sandalwood fragrance, and most people associate sandalwood with being, creamy, smooth, whereas this one's a little more choppy, not well blended, I guess, but it's a little rough around the edges. Plus, sandalwoods, I don't think it's like a major player in this as much as people think it is. It's mainly focused on the Virginia cedar. Every time I wear this, people are like, "Oh, it smells very woody," and this and that. Which is true. But when I first smelled it like a long time ago, I had no idea what I was smelling. It was so different from everything out there that I was just kind of like shocked, I guess. I couldn't really pinpoint exactly what I was smelling, but all I know is that it smelled great. But yeah, that's my story on Santal 33. Um, I bought a second bottle at one point, but ended up just selling it back to someone for a profit. I've been kind of wearing this sparingly because I don't want to waste all of this, or I guess use all of it. I don't know why. I'm worried that my refill won't be the same as what I'm smelling here, which has happened before. So I'm just kind of worried about reformulations. So I'm just kind of using this sparingly. It is an older batch, I guess, and Estee Lauder is known for using, or I guess for dumbing down some formulas. So I'll just continue to use this throughout here and there. Another thing is that I love the dry down on this. This is like so good, the dry down. It's just like a creamy sandalwood. It does turn into a creamy sandalwood at the base, but it does take a while to get there. But once you get there, it's pretty magical. But let me know what you guys think of Santal 33, or if you have any other similar stories on a fragrance that kind of changed your perspective on things, or just your life in general. But I'll catch you guys on the next one.